inflation, gas prices, drug addictions, and crime. The four things that the Republican Party I should say, the MAGA Party was focused on during the 2022 elections, blaming it all on Biden and pretty much saying, well, actually, repeating from Donald Trump's old speech, only I alone can fix it. Well, they got into power after 4 days of a nightmarish voting. They decided to say we're not going to focus on any of those things. We got power and we're not letting it go, and we're not going to do any of what we said. So let's look exactly at what they were planning on doing. Now, I attributed this graph to CNN, and actually it's perfect. But the GOP using the new panel to push far-right conspiracies. And there are 6 things, and only 6 things, that they want to think about and talk about and worry about. Not any of the things that affect us real Americans, like gas prices and inflation and drugs and crime. But here's what they're focused on. These 6 things. Maybe more, but these are the 6 things. First, Hunter Biden, the president's son, who has no position in the United States government. Apparently, Hunter has a compromising laptop with, I don't know exactly what it is, what's on it, or what the whole point is. But they are so vehemently trying to get Hunter Biden, thinking that if they can hurt Hunter, they can hurt President Joe. They can hurt President Joe, they can somehow get Donald Trump back in the office. Idiots. The second thing they're worried about is the so-called weaponization of the Department of Justice and the FBI, all because they're investigating their Lord and Master, Donald Trump. All because all the evidence looking at Donald Trump is ironclad. That Donald Trump is giving us no explanation as to why he's done the things he's done. And more to the point, has made himself look guilty completely in the process. Now, obviously, they're talking about the third one, U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, which I will admit was a complete disaster. However, regardless if it was done during the Obama administration or the Biden administration, or especially the Trump administration, in which he actually initiated the plans for withdrawal, it was going to be a disaster, regardless of who was commander-in-chief. Having the Republicans, the MAGA, the arrogance of the MAGA saying that it would have all gone smoothly if Donald Trump was in office. It would have all gone smoothly. Things would never have gone wrong. It would have been beautiful. It would have been a beautiful evacuation. It would have been beautiful. The arrogance of that shows you how dangerous these people are. And of course, they're going after China, the fourth thing, because they're still under the delusional belief that somehow China is using TikTok and other social media sites to spy on Americans. Now, I have no doubt they're spying on us. They're an adversarial government. We're an adversarial government towards them. We're spying on each other. That's the way the game is. I got no doubt of that whatsoever. But then it goes even worse. Now, the fifth thing, the origins of COVID-19. We know it came from China. But here's the thing. Are you trying to blame China completely for what happened with COVID-19? Or are you trying to blame China for the deaths in the United States? Because there's only one group of people who are responsible for the deaths in the United States. And unfortunately, that is Donald Trump and his administration. What was it that his a former chief of staff said that we're not going to control COVID. Those were his exact words. Instead of actually listening to the scientists like Anthony Fauci, and this falls into that umbrella too, because they're trying to get his head as well. Instead of listening to the science, listening to the the recommendations of scientific minds in this country, and as far as unfortunate as it is, that includes Dr. Anthony Fauci, maybe more Americans would still be alive now. And the last thing, the sixth thing they want to talk about, of course, is the southern border. The southern border, which they keep harping on, but have done nothing about. They've done nothing to stop it. They never have done nothing to help the southern border, help the border patrol down there, and they've made this an already fragile situation worse. Now, it just came to me a few hours ago before I made this video that the Republican Party actually voted against funding funding law enforcement for the border. The majority of Republicans say no, as in 191 votes. All the Republicans, except for two, said no. We're not Joe Biden is not the cause of any of this. In fact, Joe Biden is doing his damn job. To this point, more refugees and more people getting to the border are being stopped by the border by U.S. Border Patrol every day. You're welcome, Biden, or as they like to call him, Brandon. But let's go even further. The Republicans, mainly the MAGA monster himself, Donald Trump, caused all the problems down there. And now these idiots have the audacity to cry about it and to say, this is not right, this is not right, this is not right. Let's just call it for what it is, you guys. You're not planning on doing your jobs. And all those things you bitched and pissed and moaned about for the last 2 years, maybe since the very second Donald Trump was escorted off the White House grounds, got into that rinky-dink plane of his, and went back to Mar-a-Lago. You're not planning on doing anything about any of this. Your whole existence, the six things I mentioned on this list, on this graphic, Hunter Biden, investigating the DOJ and the FBI, investigating the withdrawal from Afghanistan, investigating China, investigating the origins of COVID-19, investigating the southern border. You have no intention whatsoever of helping Americans with things that matter, that truly matter. Wondering if they're able to afford gas, or they have to make the choice between having gas to get to work and affording food. Because let's just cut to the chase. You kept bitching about that for years, and you haven't done anything about it yet. You keep screaming and hopping and hollering about how drugs are getting into American cities. Yet you haven't said two words about the fact that the Biden administration has stopped thousands of pounds of drugs from crossing into the border. You want to keep screaming about crime getting out of control, where you're not doing anything about the crime. You're cutting resources to fight crime. You haven't done anything about inflation because you don't care, because it doesn't affect you. You got your power, Republicans, but right now you are looking like a powerless party. All you're going to do is yell, hope, and holler, throw your way around like Mary Jean Taylor Greene, screaming out on Facebook and Twitter how they need to investigate Biden for the documents. Oh, you're on that like bitches in heat. But when it came to actually investigating Donald Trump for documents that he has obstructed and lied about, you're silent. And it's pathetic. No, it's not pathetic. It's pretty much, what's the word I'm looking for? I pretty much guessed it, predicted it. It was inevitable. You don't care about law or justice or anything like that. You don't care about holding anyone accountable as long as it's not your boy, Donald Trump. Now, the six things I mentioned, there are many more on the list. At least it's probably going to be, even if they get drunk enough with power. But the six things on this list do not affect any of us. You're only investigating Hunter Biden because you think it'll hurt President Biden. In hopes of impeaching him, you'll get Donald Trump back in. You're investigating the DOJ and the FBI because they had the audacity of investigating your Lord and Master, Donald Trump. You're only investigating the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan because you think it should have been smoother. We all know, even Donald Trump's own goddamn administrators have admitted that it wasn't going to be smooth, there was going to be chaos. But you want to investigate him anyway just so you think you can get a black eye to Biden, which is pathetic. You're only investigating China because you listen to the BS from Trump and Truth Social that somehow Biden has some ties to China. Well, guess what? We've just found out that Donald Trump has a bank account in China, and he was making money deposits in that bank in China. Now I'm about to sound like Donald Trump now. China. We already know the origins of COVID-19, and we already know that the southern border is a mess. However, Biden is fixing it, which you Republicans have not done, but only have made things worse. So don't try to act like you're the supreme arbiters of justice. You're not. All you are a bunch of power-hungry monsters. You've shown that you can't govern, that you can't lead, and this whole 2-year experiment of trying to impeach Biden for the Lord and Master Donald Trump is nothing more than political bullshit theater. My advice to you, and my advice to all of you Republicans in the MAGA, get out of office now before you do something you're not going to be able to walk away from. And quite honestly, if one American life is lost because of this bullshit that you guys are trying to do, I will see to it that every single one of you are placed in federal prison. My advice to you, get yourself some lawyers. You're going to need them. CTP Know The Truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.